Hey everyone, your host Nick here, and you're listening to the official podcast of 4PlayerNetwork.com. First, I want to remind you that we are a fully independent podcast, quite literally just a group of friends who have met once a week since 2008 to talk about video games. If you like our show, the best thing you can do for us is be active in our community. I recommend Discord. You can subscribe to our show, leave us a review on your preferred podcast service, or, if you're so inclined, bless us with your patronage on Patreon or Twitch. If you're new, all you need to know is this. We record these shows live every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central on Twitch, and the audio version launches on all podcast services on Friday morning. Patreon and Twitch supporters will even get the show a day early on Thursdays. But if you want to know more about any of this, about what we do, or find all the important links you need, simply visit us at 4playernetwork.com. And that's it. This is the only ad you'll ever hear on this show. So, with that said, thank you for listening. Let's get started. Hey everyone, oh my god, fuck it.
It's Halloween. I didn't think you were just going to go right into it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm trying to be efficient right now. Hey everyone, welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 808. It is September 3rd, 2024. I was a year ahead. I'm so sorry. I'm your host, Nick Henderson. I'm joined tonight by Brad Simons.
What's up?
Nolan Hedstrom.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
And Christopher Davis.
Good evening.
Whoa, what happened to the coffee?
I've just got water tonight.
Wait, whoa.
I can go make you some coffee if I want.
That is brown. First of all, that's brown. You need to check.
That's not brown, it's red.
Okay, well,
even worse.
Either way, that's not water.
It's water with Mio in it. Have you ever seen Mio before?
Okay, so
we have all seen Mio because
it's basically,
that's one of the things I remember the most about going to E3 with Chris Davis in tow, is he would always have a bottle of water or whatever with him, and he would always squirt the Mio? Red Mio. I guess it's called Mio into the thing and then turn around. Yeah, wow. So
I don't remember that about Chris Davis.
I do.
What happened to the coffee?
Chris Davis squirting?
I don't squirt in public.
I remember that, of course.
That's
to make it awkward, both of you. I was about to say Nolan, and then Chris Davis took it one step further.
It's a magic trick.
Oh my god. Anyways, hey everyone, welcome to the show. Video games. It's been a week. It's been a crazy week. I hope everybody who has a 3-day weekend enjoyed their nice long weekend. Hopefully playing video games if the opportunity presented itself.
Yep.
And yeah, we're going to talk about some stuff. There's actually been quite a bit of news that I somehow wasn't super aware of until about an hour before we recorded this, but we'll talk about some of that stuff. We also got Star Wars Outlaws. We got some more Black Myth Wukong. We got a game called Arco, which Brad's going to talk about. We're going to talk about some VR stuff. So yeah, lots of stuff to talk about tonight. So real quick.
Concord, Nick, real quick. The reason you're like head to the ground, didn't see the Concord news, let's be honest. It's because anytime you see anything related to Concord, you're like, well, I'm not interested in this, and you probably just kept scrolling, right? Which is fine.
Okay.
That's literally what the world did.
I mean, that's not entirely true, because I'm also in our Discord a lot, and usually, without fail, one thing I'm really proud of our Discord, because it really has become one of those places. Like I don't have to necessarily follow like Wario64 on Twitter to kind of keep track of what's going on in the industry, because
we just repost what Wario says in chat.
Well, sometimes, but like almost as soon as stuff breaks on social media, it's being posted in our own Discord. So like that stuff usually comes to the surface pretty quickly, and that's how I find out about it. But
it's not wrong.
Just this past weekend, I've just kind of had my head down playing games, and I just hasn't been paying a lot of attention. But tonight, it was brought to my attention that Concord, the live service game from Sony that we've been watching trailers for what feels like 3 or 4 years now, maybe that's an exaggeration, I don't know, but I feel like we've seen a lot of trailers for Concord, and it came out like 2 weeks ago, maybe 2.5
11 days ago.
11 days ago, not even 2 weeks. 11 days ago. 2 middling scores, right? Not super well received. They're fucking shutting it down.
There's been lots of memes, by the way.
Which Brad, you made the point, or you started.
People have been searching like how long. What's the shelf life of a Concord grape is actually long. than the shelf life of the Concord game.
We're starting to use it as
a common housefly is longer than the.
Nice.
We're gonna start using the lifespan of Concord as like a field of measurement in gaming, which is interesting. It's just on one hand I'm like, holy shit, I can't imagine as a developer like spending years of your life building something like that and then to have it just go under in less than 11 days. But to your point, Brad, you started to say before we were, but then obviously somebody was like, save it for the show. You started to say this was actually probably a really smart move, financially speaking, from Sony to see the writing on the wall.
I mean, obviously it's a shit thing, right?
Yeah.
But I'm assuming that it was like,
I mean, we've had this conversation with the live service thing.
We kind of need to discuss whether like we think this will ever come back as like some sort of like free to play thing. I think it's probably too far gone for that, like in terms of it being a clown show already and the lack of interest. But if it really is never coming back, like why drag it out? Why pay the server costs, right? Like the concurrents are like in the fucking toilet. You could barely find a match. When something is just a live service game, there's no like campaign or whatever. Like honestly, why drag it out, right? From Sony's perspective, it doesn't make sense. I get it.
There's got to be something going on behind the
scenes.
They
were
though.
Like part of like the updates were going to be like story like cutscenes, like they were going to release like story videos or whatever of these characters like
every week.
Shit. Every week they said. I'm sure a lot of that was already made, but like that would have also been extraordinarily expensive, I imagine. So
somebody in our I think it was it
just ripped the band-aid
I don't remember
off.
who it was. Somebody in our chat before we started recording, and I apologize, I do not remember who. It was King Carey. King Carey in chat had brought up the good point. I forgot that Concord was one of the games that was advertised as having an episode on that new secret level show from Blur.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
and that's just like holy crap. So that begs the question, like, what are they going to do if anything?
What Sony's expectations were, maybe, right? If they thought it was going to be at least big enough to be worthy of.
Yeah. I mean, they were probably looking at that show as like marketing for the game, but it didn't even make it to the point. Like, it was dead before the show even had a chance to get off the ground. So, like, who knows? Like, maybe that secret levels thing is going to be a huge success, and it could have ended up breathing some life into Concord. I don't know.
I mean, if Secret Level had come out 3 months ago and we'd already seen the episode, like maybe Concord have a little bit more momentum. But I honestly don't think that Secret Level would have saved it. No.
Probably not.
I mean, the biggest problems with this game were, number one, that it was 8 years of development on a response to Overwatch 1, which was over-engineered towards that response.
And a lot has changed.
And the marketing they did for this game,
but continue.
The marketing that they did for this game did nothing to make people actually give a shit about these characters. So what reason do people have to switch off of their other team-based shooters?
But to be fair, that is very subjective. Beyond
explaining why no one was interested in this game.
That was very subjective because
they said they weren't interested.
Whatever. We can move on.
I'm just saying, like the interesting news here is not why fucking Concord failed. We know why it failed. Everyone told us when it was, as soon as it was announced, they're like,
suppose they sold less than 25,000 copies.
Yeah.
Damn.
But the news here is just, I've never seen a response like this drastic and this quick. And I wonder like what this means for that developer. This is a studio that Sony purchased during the development of Concord, because I guess they like what they like what they saw, or they just really wanted that type of game, right? Assuming, obviously they thought it was going to be much more successful than this.
We are talking again about Sony, who over the past 5 or 6 years before Jack, is it Jack Ryan? Am I?
Jim.
It sounds wrong in my head. Okay.
Jim.
Jim Ryan.
Jim Ryan. Okay, sorry. I was like something that sounds. I was like, that's the TV show. Anyways, when Ryan left Sony, like the whole conversation shifted, right? Like the whole Sony seems to start to be pivoting away from the strategy they were going for, which was to put 60% or more of their development resources behind live service games, and now they're turning to backpedal on that. And this just seems like they're obviously they've put so much time and money into it. We got to put it out and see what happens. And if the response isn't strong enough, fast enough, it's got to go. Because
I mean, do you think this was just the same? This was going to be this was the plan, for months now, right?
I think the plan was probably to gauge how successful
if this doesn't blow up, we're killing it immediately.
I think
if you think about what's happening at Bungie, what happened with The Last of Us, what happened with that Twisted Metal game, obviously they're killing all these service games. But it's still crazy, right? When you hold this up against Helldivers 2, which is still one of the success stories of this year, which is a Sony published service game, it's crazy. Because if it wasn't for that, the writing would be on the wall. But at the same time, I feel like people look at Helldivers and go, maybe this is still worth it. And that's a little scary. There's more coming. There's more service games from Sony coming. Fair games.
The big takeaway from this and it's from the last few times this has happened, should be that and I think there was such a enthusiasm behind live service games years ago that they were just like, oh my god, live service game is the secret sauce. It's the key to success. And now the outlook has shifted to
we've talked about this before. It's the key to success when it works. When it doesn't, you take the tax write-off and you look for the next one, because 30 failed ones will still be worth it if you get one success.
I know.
They're going to keep trying.
I'm just saying the past was the past mindset seemed to be more like you make a live service game, the chances it's more likely than not going to be successful. And I feel like that's just the pendulum has started to swing a little bit. I mean, but you're right, they're going to keep trying, but maybe not to the same.
Well, I mean, it's not
degree.
just
it's 8 years of development.
You just can't spend a lot of money on it. You just got to start small and then see if there's any interest. Honestly, right?
Yeah, that's probably the best way to do it.
I mean, the other problem is that you spent 8 years developing a game based on game design that was popular 9 years ago and got so fucking oversaturated that people just stuck to one thing and didn't go explore those other things.
You keep saying that, but Marvel Rivals is coming out and it's already enormous, which is just an Overwatch 1 gloom.
It's also Marvel.
Yeah, but it's also what he keeps saying, which is Overwatch 1.
Okay, look. I don't want to spend the entire show talking about news, but there's a couple things that did happen I want to make sure we mention, because Itsuno left Capcom.
Yeah.
That's big.
Hideaki Itsuno, who's been there for 30 years, and it's more than just Devil May Cry and Dragon's Dogma. He goes way back. It's funny, we talked about that new Capcom collection that has Capcom vs SNK 2, the Rival Schools 2, Power Stone 1 and 2. Those are all Itsuno games. Mm-hmm. It's crazy that he's leaving Capcom after Dragon's Dogma 2.
And apparently he's leaving to go make a new game with a new studio.
It's like Nettie's money or whatever, right? Like he's probably doing what Mikami did, what Kamiya's doing, and Nagoshi did when he left Sega. These people have been worked at these storied Japanese games, producers, directors are leaving probably because they're chasing a paycheck. Now that they have enough notoriety that they can start a new studio with way more money, because they probably Japanese businesses, people, it's very different in this country, right? People don't, you don't hear about Japanese studios getting laid off, because it's against the law. You can't just do that. There's protections. You have to have a very valid reason to shut a company down.
You say that, and yet there's something about that in the news right now.
What studio?
The developers behind Visions of Mana. That game is coming out.
That is not a Japanese company. Just like Tango Gameworks. Yeah. Tango Gameworks was American owned. That Visions of Mana studio is not a Japanese studio. That is a Chinese studio.
Mm-hmm. That is a twist that I did not see coming.
Yeah. And again, Tango Gameworks was in Japan. That is an American owned studio. It's just different. It's very fucking different. Anyways, also from what I understand is like the pay is not like what it is in some of these other places, and I could see it makes sense that a lot of these people are leaving these companies finally and like chasing like a big ass fucking paycheck because maybe they fucking earned it, they deserve it, whatever. Let's just hope it pays off.
Actually, no, the developer,
good games come of it.
The developer is Japanese. Oka Studios, formerly known as Sakura Studios, headquartered
they're
in
owned
Shibuya.
by NetEase. That is a Chinese company.
Yeah, but they're a Japanese developer.
Yeah, but I know, but like Tango Gameworks, they're not a Japanese business.
But so I didn't get what I was going to say was that Itsuno is going to go work on a project in a new studio for NetEase. NetEase, as part of their layoffs of Akua Studios, is divesting from Japanese development. Like right now. So
that's weird.
Well, I mean, it might be related to like what's going on with Wukong. I mean, I don't know the reasons, but I mean, things are definitely shifting. I think
we'll keep an eye on it. But it's still big,
I'm just hopeful that Itsuno is not going over to work on this project and it's canceled in 3 months.
No, I mean, I don't think that's.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, you say that, but there's plenty of like success stories coming out of like regions that are not Japan over.
I don't think Itsuno is going to be struggling to find work, even if this particular.
No.
What does it say about Dragon's Dogma 2 though? Like, I feel like everyone's kind of like fingers crossed for like a big expansion, just like the first game. Does this say much about that? I mean, obviously there was some backlash.
The studio is much bigger than just Itsuno, and I don't think they necessarily.
Of course. But you also got to understand that like Dragon's Dogma 2 was very much like his passion project. And even with the sequel, it was all pitched as like, this is like Itsuno's baby. This is why things are the way that they are. I'm not saying that they shut down everything, but I'm curious.
J-Hit says the director for Dark Arisen was the lead designer on Dragon's Dogma 2, and he is still at Capcom.
Yeah, again,
I don't know the name.
I feel like it could still happen, but it's not like
it's not a guarantee.
Yeah, I mean, it feels weird. Obviously, it's more about whatever the next thing he was going to work on, which might not have been this expansion, but it could have been another Devil May Cry or something, or maybe his Rival Schools sequel didn't get greenlit.
But Devil May Cry can continue without him as well. I mean, look, they've done crazier things, right? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, also like after a certain point, you don't want to get put in a box and be the Devil May Cry guy, like.
Huh?
Well, he's not.
He's not the Devil May Cry guy.
He's the Devil May Cry, and the Dragon's Dogma, and the Rival Schools. He's got a lot of stuff.
Like he's been
named.
Yeah,
but when this story broke, I swear to God, it felt like everyone was lamenting that Devil May Cry 6, if it ever existed, is now dead.
I think people tend to get really hyper.
Because people could have. The speculation is maybe that's what he would be working on next, in theory.
But like him departing doesn't mean the project's canceled. That shit happens all the time.
Yeah, it's a big enough series.
Franchises don't necessarily live or die based on one person. I mean,
5 was the best selling.
I think Metal Gear Solid might be the only exception to that rule, and even then, it's still kind of hanging on.
Well, that's coming back.
It is coming back, but as a remake and weird spin-offs. You know what I mean? But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Was there any other? I think was there one other thing that was newsworthy, or is that? Can we put a?
There was, but I don't remember. Let's move on.
Let's move the fuck on. Video games. Should I talk about Outlaws? Is this the part of the show where I talk about Star Wars Outlaws?
This is a safe space. You can talk about Outlaws.
Is it a safe space? Is this a safe space to talk about Ubisoft open world games?
It definitely seems like one of those that you're very anxious about, but we maybe don't care as much as you think we do. As far as like you.
Yeah, I mean, kind of anxious, but at the same time, kind of excited. What I didn't really, because we had a 3-day weekend, and I had every intention of like starting this game on like Saturday and playing it a shit ton of it before the end of Labor Day, right? And I ended up not even starting the game until late Sunday night. So at this point, I'm only like 7 hours into the game, which for a game of this scope is not very far. In fact, a lot of the footage you're going to see here is kind of from that the world that you've kind of probably seen in most of the preview footage, most of the trailers and whatnot. It's a planet called Tashara, I think. But anyways, yeah, Star Wars Outlaws. Open world Ubisoft game from Massive Entertainment. I didn't... Huh? Say again?
With or without towers?
I have not seen a tower. Here's the thing. I did not play Massive's last open worlds Ubisoft game, which was Avatar, but I heard not bad things about that game. I'm just not a huge fan of that franchise, so it didn't really light a fire under me. This is obviously a little bit different. It's Star Wars. But yeah, I mean, in some ways, this game seems to be following the Ubisoft formula, but in other ways, just like really swinging for the fences and doing some other kind of interesting things. Like the whole progression system for your characters in this game, and what I think is ultimately going to end up kind of tying into the story, because the whole story is about this, Han Solo-esque character, Kay. She's a scoundrel, whatever, and I think she's about to get swept up into this like heist. Very Andor, I think. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But like the way you progress is in the story as a character is you do missions for people and you form relationships with characters, and each one of those characters has skills that are specific to them that kind of tie into like their personality and their role in the universe, whatever. Like one character is kind of like a mechanic, and she like upgrades your speeder bike, whatever. So she has skills associated to her that are like related to your speeder bike stuff. So if you do stuff, and then all of those skills that are associated to her, like in order to unlock them, you don't just like kill a bunch of dudes, build up experience, then spend that experience to upgrade that thing. You have to like there's like a little checklist associated with each one that's like do a certain number of things or find a certain number of these kinds of items and like check off all those boxes. And once you've done that, you can unlock that skill. Like I just unlocked a skill today that allows me to like kind of do these little hops on my speeder to like go over rocks and stuff. And I did that by doing like I did like a 60-meter jump. Like I got 60 meters worth of air on a jump on my speeder bike, and that like checked off the box, and I was like, oh, now you can unlock this new ability. So like all of the progression shit is tied to stuff like that. There's one, because like you have this little creature that follows you around that's a major mechanic in the game, Nyx. And there are skills associated to that character as well that allow you to like pickpocket and send them to do various things for you. And like one of the checklists or check marks on that list to unlock the next skill is like find 4 ways to like make Nyx happy. And I was like, okay, I can pet him. That's one. I have no idea what the other 3 are. I've been trying. Like,
have you tried heavy petting?
I have not tried heavy petting. There's not really an option for that. But yeah, I think it's actually really, really kind of a novel way to switch things up as far as like how you upgrade a character. It's like meet as many people as possible and see what kind of skills are associated to all those characters, and then kind of foster the relationships with those people to unlock skills. They're like it's like the skill trees are people, which is
and the relationship weird, meter balance and the relationship meter balancing is straight out of Splinter Cell Double Agent.
So I'm not sure if you're referring to, because like the other crux of this is like the actual relationship meters in this game are associated to like crime lords and like their things. So like there's the Crimson Dawn, there's the Pikes and stuff, and they all have their own kind of like gangs, and you are making decisions that are like moving the scale either way to like, and depending on whether you have like if you have like a bad relationship, if you even like step foot in their territory, they're gonna fucking attack you. But if you like do missions for them and make decisions that they like, you'll improve that meter, and then you can just like kind of walk freely through their areas. You can talk to them, you can buy stuff from them, but like the game is constantly giving you opportunities to like double cross people, or that's kind of a neat thing too. You're like making the decisions you're making are not just benefiting you, they're benefiting or not benefiting certain crime lords and gangs, whatever, in this world. I think is really neat as well. And some of those decisions can be tough. Like it could be like, I really need money right now. I'm low on money. I could do the mission I've been paid to do, or I can double cross that person and get twice as much money, but I'm also risking going into the red, making an enemy, and then suddenly I'm like kind of like making it difficult to explore certain parts of this world, which is neat. And
it's a quick gain now for a more difficult thing later. It's you quickly get something today, but then you're pushing those consequences down the road.
But and the whole economy of the game, from my understanding, is that all your money making opportunities are bespoke opportunities. It's not like an organic, I can go and do a crime because I can thing like a Grand Theft Auto, right?
When you say bespoke opportunities, do you mean like just like what, like they're predefined kind of thing?
Like a side objective pops up somewhere on the map, or an opportunity side quest pops up.
Yeah, and I forgot where I saw this. I think this was in a review or something somewhere where somebody had made a comment about the world in Star Wars Outlaws. Like they're comparing it to something like Red Dead Redemption 2, where it's like the world feels genuine, like it feels lived in, but it doesn't feel alive, which I don't really get. But I think they're kind of alluding to what you're talking about, which is that like there's not as much stuff happening that feels like super organic. All of it, like a lot of what's happening is, and that's where it starts to really feel like a Ubisoft, like an open world Ubisoft game. In that sense, it feels like kind of what people think of when they think of open world games, right? It's just like, it's not pushing the envelope in terms of like making everything feel super organic. But on the flip side of that, the world they've crafted here is absolutely stunning, and like there's so many NPCs, and you hear so many things that like are just like hitting, like firing off all these things in your brain about Star Wars, like the music and certain characters and aliens and just all these things. But it's all window dressing. But like that really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, like it's about your character, and everything around you is just kind of there to make the world that you're in feel alive. So no, it does not go as far as like something. But like, how many games can say they go as far as Red Dead Redemption 2 or Grand Theft Auto, right? And
no, like, and I'm not expecting that at all.
Right. So, and I don't think most people are, but I do feel like that is kind of the thing. It's kind of like what's an example of something like it's like the Baldur's Gate 3 effect, right? Like Baldur's Gate 3 raised the bar so high for story-driven RPGs and character development and stuff that like any game in that same genre that would have been really well received prior to Baldur's Gate 3 is suddenly received far less because it's just not living up. And I feel like that's kind of the same thing here. I mean, I could say the same thing.
Rise of the Ronin reviews, right?
Yeah, sure. Rise of the Ronin reviews.
This game has completely lost me in this one scene. You are fighting off a bunch of stormtroopers, and you are getting hit a lot by them. Like, that's completely inaccurate.
It's a video game,
They're missing.
That. It's a video game, you know. Oh, are you saying because they're actually hitting me? And
yes.
Okay, I get your joke. I thought you were saying that I wasn't going down instantly. I was like, it's a video game, Chris. I can take a few hits. Yeah.
So what is the like natural like discovery like in this game?
So here's the thing. That is the one thing, because I haven't played enough of it yet. Like I'm still, like I said, about 7 or 8 hours in. I still very much feel like I'm still kind of learning the ropes. I'm not really in the tutorial anymore, but I'm still constantly doing things that are like, okay, they're showing me how to do certain things. I don't know. I don't feel super comfortable in this world yet, to the point where I just feel like, okay, now I'm in it. I'm settled. I know what the loop is. I'm just kind of like trying to figure it out for myself at this point. Everything still feels kind of shiny and new. And a lot of the stuff, like my speeder's not very well upgraded. I have barely done anything to my ship. I've only gone into space once.
Okay.
So like, even the combat scenarios that I've gotten into have been kind of few and far between. The things that I've they talk about in reviews a lot that I think are kind of sticky points. There's sticky points for me too. Is the stealth? Like anybody going into this expecting this to be like Hitman or Splinter Cell is obviously going to be super disappointed because it's kind of very much. I mean, I don't think it's bad. I just think it's again, the bar has been set so high on for that genre that like this obviously just can't compare.
There appears to be a lot of love for Splinter Cell, at least in some of the base gameplay design. Like we just saw Mark and Execute from Conviction. We've been talking about the relationships between the factions that straight out of Double Agent. Like,
yeah, I mean, it is Ubisoft, so I wouldn't be surprised at all if they're pulling bits and pieces from certain Splinter Cell games and other franchises or whatever.
I mean, that makes me
as
more
inspiration here. I mean, honestly, I'm really enjoying it so far. There's been a few bugs, nothing crazy or like deal breaking or anything like that. And just to kind of get this out of the way, like if you're watching the footage right now and flying into space, it is obviously it's not No Man's Sky. You don't get into a ship and then just fly, or you can't land your ship anywhere you want.
It's a loading zone.
It's a loading zone, but once you get into it, like they treat orbital space around the planet that you're on as like another open area. So like as you can see, I'm in space now, and you can kind of see icons. There's those like debris fields and like wreckage of ships or whatever, and so I can go in any direction. And there's things to do and explore, places to land your ship, and explore in space. You can get into dogfights, which is pretty cool. Like I'm playing Starfield right now, and Starfield is still like dogfights, and Starfield are like still feel kind of like super complicated to me. This feels much more kind of like arcadey. It's like I'm flying the ship around and I'm like just lining up the thing and firing lasers. It just feels kind of nice and simple, but like satisfying. So and I haven't gone to any other planet or anything. So I haven't even reached that point yet where I'm like bouncing between different planets and doing a whole bunch of different things. I don't have access to everything in the world yet, but the foundation has been set and I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that's really all I have to say about it at the moment. I'm going to obviously play a fuck ton more of it. It is cool to play a Star Wars game where like your main means of defending yourself is shooting a blaster, like instead of using a lightsaber. Yeah. Like I feel like there haven't been a ton of Star Wars games where I've like engaged in like shootouts, like Old West style, and I feel like that's kind of refreshing. Yeah, and riding around. This is maybe this is just the Days Gone fan in me, but like the speeder bike is really fun. Like even at the start of the game when you have no upgrades on it at all, that thing hauls ass, and you can like turn on a dime. But like it's so basic right now, and I can already tell there's gonna be tons of things to like swap out and upgrades and stuff. So like by the end of the game, I imagine the speeder bike is gonna be fucking crazy. But like, yeah, just hauling ass across like open plains on a Star Wars planet, it feels so cool. I played Sabacc. I've never like they talk about Sabacc a lot in like the movies and stuff, but I don't think they've ever really shown you what Sabacc is or how to play it, and it feels kind of like sitting down to play like a really kind of addicting. It's kind of like sitting down to play Queen's Blood and Rebirth or whatever. Like it's cool. But like they animate everything, so they have this like really futuristic like table set up, and like they have this droid in the middle that kind of deals the cards and then spins around, and like so it's cool, man. Like I can see myself getting lost there just gambling. You can bet the game opens, like the opening level is on Canto Bight, which is from The Last Jedi. The casino planet, right? But they have the races remember the races that were happening there with those big dog things. So like, you can actually bet on those races and stuff, which is kind of neat.
That casino planet, man. I think that was the one part of that movie that I just really could not get on board with. Right?
That's the one part everybody doesn't like.
So hold on. Yeah, correct. Same here. But wasn't one of the whole plot points of that, Nick, that it was bad that they were keeping those animals captive and betting on them?
Yeah.
Look, dude.
And so now you're
Nick is
doing
part
that
of the
in the
problem.
game for funsies.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm confused. What do you mean? I mean, she's a criminal. Like you're playing as a criminal, right? I mean, I don't think she's morally opposed to it.
Justify animal torture.
Wow.
Damn.
Cancel Nick.
Turn. look, I mean, it's cool. Just being like walking around on Canto Bight as like seeing that planet and outside of The Last Jedi and being able to kind of like walk around and see more of it is pretty neat. I dig it. But yeah, I'll have a lot more to say about this in coming weeks after I've played a bunch more. But so far, I'm into it. But do I think it's going to like? I mean, obviously, we already know the answer to this. No, I don't think this is going to like change people's lives in terms of like how open world games are designed or anything like that. But man, I'm enjoying it. It's fun.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. And not a tower in sight.
I'm not going to play this right now. I want to wait at minimum until the season pass content is all out because I just don't like the idea of an open world game that I'm supposed to spend 60 to 80 hours on having DLC that's due out next spring.
Like, I mean, isn't that like every open world game at this point? I mean, here's the thing. I almost never spend money on like, I'm not going to buy anything with the microtransactions. I'm going to wait and see what the reception is on the DLC before I spend any money on it. I'm not going to do the season pass or anything. I don't look at season passes. I gauge the content as it comes out, and if it is received well, I'll play it. So we'll see what happens. Winged in chat says if Nick beats this before trying Rise of the Ronin, that will be shocking. Before trying Rise of the Ronin, I've played like 10 hours of Rise of the Ronin.
He has.
Yeah, that you gotta let that one go.
I let Chris Davis borrow Rise of the Ronin, and he beat the shit out of that game and gave it back to me, and it's still sitting behind me on my shelf.
Yeah, I mean, I'm amazed you still own it. I figured you would have traded in by now.
I mean, I have said this before on previous episodes. Not a big fan of Rise of the Ronin, but also.
Sometimes you just have bad opinions. It's okay. We don't judge.
Sometimes we all have bad opinions from time to time. And look, maybe one day I'll try it again, and maybe one day I'll realize I was wrong. I feel like there was one game where I was like, at one point, it was Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I said I did not like this game. I mean, I played the whole damn thing, but I was like, I did not like this game much at all. Like it kind of almost turned me off to Star Wars. And then I came back, played it again before Survivor came out just to like remind myself, you don't need to play Survivor because remember this game is not very good, and I fucking fell in love with it. The same thing could happen with Rise of the Ronin.
I mean, I think the bigger problem with that game in particular was that it just had so many problems at launch. Fallen Order.
That's true. But I mean, I played it all the way through. But like the things that I remember being sticking points for me, like the characters and the story, I did not like either of those things. And then I played the game again and was like, what was I smoking? These characters are great. This story is fantastic. It didn't have anything to do with bugs or being a smoother experience. It was just like, oh yeah, I like Star Wars. So it happens. Sometimes the stars just align or they don't. So anyways, that's all I'll say about Star Wars Outlaws for now. But yeah. I'm digging it.
Cool.
David did text me again to be like, so are you playing Rebirth again? And I was like, I was for about a week. And then Wukong came out. Then Outlaws came out. I told him I'm going to try and finish it in September, though. I'm going to try and finish Rebirth in September. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you just focus on Outlaws? Let me borrow your copy of Astrobot and just work on that.
Fuck off. I am probably going to put everything on hold to play through Astrobot. I still think that's going to be the game to beat this year in terms of like review scores and shit. I think that game's going to be hot.
Unfortunately.
So, yeah, I think unfortunately for us all.
I mean, I don't think it's going to score better than Rebirth, even if Rebirth was a bit unjustified, but whatever.
We'll find out pretty soon. That game comes out on Friday.
Yep.
Fucking Friday. Real quick, just kind of on that note, since you brought up, I guess I brought up Astrobot, but Nolan, you said you had a chance to play through some. You were playing some VR stuff this past weekend, and you played.
Yeah, I was.
Playroom.
Yeah. Well, no. So I had a friend in town, and he had brought his VR headset. He got an Oculus 3, and so we were messing with that.
Was it a Quest 3 or an Oculus 3?
Thank you. The Quest 3.
Okay.
And we got on the topic of VR games and stuff, and that's how we kind of got on to Astrobot. because he had never played it, and I was telling him about Astrobot Rescue Mission and Astro's Playroom and stuff like that, especially with the new one coming out, because he had some interest in a PlayStation. He's never really been a PlayStation person. And so we did revisit Astro's Playroom, which I had not realized that they've actually updated since that game came out. They added some new content, they added some new secrets, they added like the PSVR 2 and like its accessories, because if you play the game, you can collect stuff in it. And so they added it
for the new Astrobot game, like, because that was one of the things when they announced Astrobot, they were like, maybe you should check Playroom, but I didn't hear anybody say what it was.
So I don't know if it's they have like in there they have like a mission control center where they have like a countdown to the new Astrobot game coming out. Like when I was playing it the other day, it's like 3 days left for the release of the game, but there wasn't really like, and I don't know if that's the content they added, like the new, like when you enter a world now, it's like a new thing in this area, a new secret to find or whatever. I've not found any of them yet. Don't get me wrong, I didn't spend too much doing it because I was, like I said, I was just showing off Astrobot to someone who had never played it before, so we only played a few levels.
What did he think?
No, dude, he loved it. He said that he probably wants to get a PlayStation. I told him maybe hold off a little bit.
Y'all think the new Astrobot's gonna do okay?
Yes.
Wait, that's
it's gonna like sales.
You mean like sales wise?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think it's going to.
So. I think
just 5 or 6 million
copies is realistic.
People went ape shit over that controller, man.
I think 5 or 6 million copies is realistic.
It's only going to be on PlayStation 5?
That's a bit much.
I don't know.
It'll get a Steam port maybe next year.
How much, I keep thinking of how much Sackboy.
It'll get a Steam port. Why would it get a Steam port?
I don't think.
That's all controller. There's no way that comes.
But like the bigger thing here is I think I know Sony's been putting a lot of their first party stuff on PC, but like literally, Astrobot is their basically their mascot at this point. Yeah. I don't think they'd be putting that on any platform other than
people could have said that about God of War or The Last of Us.
But that is not it's like I don't think you're gonna ever see Mario. It's like you wouldn't see Mario show up on Steam. You know what I mean? Even if like Nintendo's putting other stuff on other platforms, I don't think you would ever see Mario.
You would have to put a gun to Nintendo's head, and even then they would be iffy about.
But I feel like
any content like that.
But I feel like it's maybe the same way with the mascot character for Sony. But whatever, that's neither here nor there. We'll find out if you're right sooner or later. But to answer your question, Brad, I think it'll do just fine.
I hope so. Obviously, like the critical and then the word of mouth is going to be good, but it still seems like it's not the kind of game that does crazy numbers on a PlayStation.
I think Astro's Playroom did really well, mainly because you got it for free, and the fact that it was
pre-installed.
I don't know if it was pre-installed, but it was just free if you bought a PS5.
Mm-hmm. But remember, there are jerks like Chris Davis who've never actually booted it up despite owning a PS5.
That's true.
Which is still crazy.
But honestly, I think, and like I said, with my friend never having played the PlayStation 5 ever and never having played Astro, that's one of the reasons I wanted to show it to him, was because I was like, hey, look, this really shows what the DualSense can do. Like, it really shows off the capabilities. Yeah, the raindrops, the wind, the dust particles, the little splashes of water, ice cubes bumping into ice cubes when you're using the jetpack, and you can feel the thrust out of each individual controller. The fucking little spring guide, the fucking, he was confused at first because he was like, oh, it feels like you're like your shoulder button stuck or something. I'm like, no, dude, fucking squeeze it as hard as you can. Like, it is crazy how well they've got like the resistance on that thing, how much pressure you can give it. And that's what I was like, this is a very impressive controller. And the developers don't make enough use out of all of the capabilities it has. It's one of those, and my hope is that the new, my hope is the new Astrobot game will take it again and be like, guys, like, we really don't think you're using it to its full advantage. Here's how you do it. And I really do think we're probably going to see some really interesting stuff. And so I think, a lot of that alone is potentially enough to sell the game. Just, how creative it is and how unique some of the scenarios are that they put you in with the controller. I think we're going to hear a lot of praise for it, and I think that praise is going to lead to better sales.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so.
It'll be better for sure.
Did you also say you play some Half-Life Alyx with this?
Yeah.
friend
So
well?
so like I said, he had got a Quest 3, and I do have a Quest 2. And I do like my Quest 2 a lot. I think it does really well. I played. I think I played most of Half-Life Alyx on my whichever one, one of my wired ones, not the Quest 2. So I played the whole game wired. So that was on. I don't know. It doesn't matter what it was on. But anyway, so he had the Quest 3. I had heard some good things about it, but I really had no interest in getting it.
Oh, it was the Rift.
But he was like, yeah, thank you. The Rift. The Rift is what I played most of my stuff on. The Oculus Rift S.
Yeah. That's the one I got because I think I saw yours.
Yeah. And so he was like, hey, I got it. You want me to bring it on this trip and we can kind of check it out and play with it. He doesn't have too many Steam games for it. And I was like, oh yeah, dude, we can boot up all my Steam library and you can check out whatever. And he had shown interest in Half-Life Alyx. So anyway, booted up the Quest 3, and first off, he wanted me to play there's a demo that shows off the kind of augmented reality stuff of the Quest 3, and holy shit. So first off, I had not realized that with the Quest 3, the pass-through like you have on the Quest 2, where you can double tap the headset and see the world around you, it's in full color. Fucking the I don't know if it's the refresh rate or whatever is super high, so you can literally just walk around with the headset. It's augmented reality, kind of almost competing with the Apple stuff. But it was super impressive, and one of the first things it has you do is instead of with the Quest 2, the Quest the Oculus Rift or whatever, instead of scanning your environment and you're putting the controller on the ground and then drawing a little path on the ground to give yourself that box of this is my safe area, you literally just kind of look around the room. The headset takes it in, and now everything's scanned and it's just there. And if you get close to something, it automatically throws up a wall about 1.5 feet, 2 feet away from the closest object to you. But that's with that, now that the whole room has been scanned, in the kind of augmented reality demo thing it was showing me, it was a little mini game. The whole concept is there's some little aliens that pop out, and I'm sorry I don't have footage. And the reason I don't have footage is because I was actually playing this in my basement. So I actually have a room in my basement that's not finished yet because we've been waiting on some stuff to get fixed. Long story short, it's just a big empty room right now. And so the benefit now. Right. Oh yeah. So the benefit to that was in this augmented reality game, you start hearing kind of knocks on the wall or whatever, and then your literal ceiling. Look at your ceiling and just imagine your ceiling falling through and you seeing up into the sky. That's what it looked like. My ceiling fell. There was stuff on my ceiling that was no longer there, and I'm looking around in this room. Like I said, the pass through of the headset is really good. So it's not even just that I'm seeing that. I'm seeing my friend in the room, Bernadette's in the room. I'm seeing them, but I'm seeing the ceiling fall through. I can see through it, and then creatures are now busting through the wall, the drywall has been busted out, and I can see outside. And now these aliens are jumping in, and I'm having to shoot them or whatever. It's kind of a tech demo, but it was still extremely impressive, how well it took this 3D mapping of the room, and now and no matter where I moved, it looked like I was now looking through a hole in my wall. And it was insanely impressive, just doing that. And so that's the only real game that I got the chance to play that really took advantage of that technology. I don't know if there are other ones that have yet. It could be similar to Astrobot, where since it's almost a first party developed thing, they're the ones that really know how to take advantage of it. But then after that, it did play a little bit of Half-Life Alyx. I didn't play too much, mainly just because I played a little bit just to get him set up, because like I said, it was him wanting to check out the demo itself, or the game itself rather. And so, but just being able to play with the Oculus completely,
wireless,
untethered. Like I said, it not even just and maybe I could do this with my Quest. I'm pretty sure I could do it with my Quest 2 because I tried it out a little bit. But just the fact that I was in my basement, and like I said, one of the impressive things was you don't like how it scans the room or whatever. If you, like I said, if you remember with the Quest 2 or the Oculus Rift or whatever, you can have either that little draw the circle, or you can have like essentially just like, hey, I'm not going to be walking around. Here's my safe circle. This is where I want to stay, and it puts that circle on the ground. Well, what had happened was because we were having trouble connecting his headset to my computer. I kind of went up to my room. I tried to get my Oculus going, and then like, I think I got it working. Let me walk down to the basement. So I walked down to the basement wearing my Oculus, my Quest 2, in the horrible like 15 FPS black and white vision. Everything's kind of delayed as I'm walking around. But then I get in my basement and I look up and I can see the circle on the other side of the house where I previously was standing, like my safe space. And so that was pretty funny that I could see that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it understands the concept of moving around. But anyway, it was really kind of fun getting back into VR and getting to play some of those. He had, and I guess he bought like a third party thing for his Quest 3 that's like a battery pack built into it, which adds like a few extra hours of battery, which also like it's one of those things where it gives it like a more comfortable headset feel. But yeah, no, it was nice to kind of get back into that, and it was also just really nice revisiting Half-Life Alyx. That game was just so impressive,
so good.
And he had a similar scenario to me, and I remember when I first played the game that I spent like at least 40 minutes just in the first couple of areas before the gameplay even starts, just like, picking up the markers and writing on the board, and kind of messing with like VHS tapes, or just kind of playing around, just because it's like it's crazy how well Valve did at kind of interacting with the environment.
I think that game is still maybe the one to beat, like as far as VR
for sure.
implementation. It's everything about that game feels so tactile and so
And after kind of playing that with him, it's one I might actually go and revisit, especially because, like I said, the entire first time I played that game was with my Rift S, so I was wired. So you always have that wire that every once in a while you kind of have to like readjust it because it's like running down your back or getting in the way or whatever.
Damn, this makes me want a Quest 3, but damn it, I don't need another headset.
Yeah, that's the only problem with these. It's similar to buying new consoles. It's like, well, what the fuck
wireless.
do I do with my old one?
Untethered sounds so nice.
The untetheredness of my Quest 2, with the few games I have played of it, has been great for sure. And it's just frustrating that the Quest 3 is so much better. Obviously, the only other problem is it's through fucking Meta, and I don't really like that.
So you still have to have a Facebook account?
No, so you can have a Meta account now. They don't make you use Facebook. You can actually just create a separate Meta account.
Meta is its own separate login? Mm-hmm. I had no idea. Interesting.
Yeah, I think they might have added that with the Quest 2, because I think I had that on my Quest 2 as well. That it's nice that you don't have to be tied to Facebook. Yeah.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah.
That goes to show you how long it's been since I tried to use my Rift.
For sure. Same thing. Yeah.
You have to read like a shitty racist Facebook post from an aunt or something before you can boot up a game. I don't know why people are so anxious about the Facebook login.
I mean, for me, it's that I made the decision to get off Facebook, just entirely, and then Oculus was like, "Just kidding, you need an account."
I've never had a Facebook account.
I know. It's just it's the principle of the matter. It's like I got off, I escaped. I don't even want the temptation to like go back to Facebook, and they're basically forcing my hand. But if Meta is a totally different thing, I would consider it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, if you decide to go back to Alyx, you should really look into the levitation mod that came out a couple years ago.
So yeah, and that is the other thing. When I booted up the game, it did say like, "Oh, do you want to have add-ons or mods or stuff?" And I didn't get a chance to look into them, but that is interesting. Oh, I will say that regardless of the quality of the Quest 3, I briefly tried to use the mode that is the continuous movement, and nope, still made me want to throw up instantly.
I understand.
That is not for me. Like it doesn't matter how smooth it is. It's just like the whole thing of your eyes see yourself moving, but your body does not feel yourself moving, and that disconnect is just nope.
Not gonna happen.
But using the kind of blink ability to kind of throw yourself to another place, that's fine.
I understand. Gotcha. I was fine with continuous movement, but I can understand why a lot of people had problems with it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should be excited about this game. I'm kind of like trying to temper my expectations, but like that VR Alien game coming out in December.
Oh yeah,
from a studio that I've never heard of before, but it looks like
is it a studio that has made VR things before?
Rogue Incursion. What was the developer?
Chris Davis will have an answer for me shortly, but like
Survios, I think.
I want that game to be good because if there's an honest to god like VR Aliens experience that's not some like 45-minute cinematic experience and it's an actual like game, I'm in. I want that face hugger like on my face. You know what I mean?
You like getting your face fucked, huh?
No.
Okay.
I mean that's.
Yeah, it's a developer called Survios. They've been around for about 11 years. They've worked on a bunch of different PSVR 1 stuff. Sprint Vector, Electronauts, the Creed boxing game, Walking Dead Onslaught.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah. See, it's not like I don't know if I'd call those red flags, but they're not.
No, I mean I think people liked that Creed boxing game a little bit, maybe.
I just hope that this is maybe this is like a hit. This would be cool. Like if they're gonna have a hit, I hope it's this.
Yeah.
God damn, VR Aliens game could be fucking cool.
We just need more good Aliens games. Like we've been getting plenty of them over the past decade, but like how many of them have been like truly like?
They can't all be Alien Isolation, baby.
You can't all be Isolation. No matter how much we wish they would get there.
Yeah. Okay. So tell you what, why don't we take a quick break? We come back. Brad is going to talk to us about Arco, and then we will I don't know, do some I don't know if there's maybe some fantasy critic talk to have, and then we'll wrap up with a 4-player minute. I don't know what's going on. We'll see what happens. But if you're watching or listening at home, don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this quick break. Chris Davis. It's Chris Davis.
No.
Gotta say it. Davis.
No.
Okay. Anyways, hey everyone, welcome back to the show. One thing I wanted to say at the beginning, and I forgot to say it, but like, spooky season has begun. Welcome to spooky season.
This was you're spoiling my 4-player minute.
Oh shit! I didn't. Well, you didn't. I mean, I don't know how I was supposed to know that, Brad. Although I probably should have suspected as such. Brad, you did
ever even shown interest in Halloween?
Let's just wait.
No, not really. Not that I remember.
Okay, so you don't want me to mention that you recommended a movie and I watched it and I was like, oh shit.
No, I kind of just want to talk about my game actually, but you can talk about that during your 4-player minute.
Fine.
My
Go ahead.
Tiny segment game as usual.
I'll squeeze it in later. Tell us about Arco.
That's what she said.
Arco, this game that I was playing. Arco, I picked this up kind of not on a whim. I was kind of hearing a little bit of buzz. It's a game that I saw. So I don't know if y'all see this stuff, but Edge Magazine is a magazine. There's not many video game magazines anymore.
One of the last ones.
This is one of the last ones. Well, sometimes their issue comes out with reviews of games that have not actually hit the internet yet because they have different sort of like embargoes, or maybe there is no embargo for some of these games, but sometimes it'll get reviews before anyone else. So sometimes I'll peek at those to go, maybe I could still potentially bid on some of these games.
Always Fantasy Critic.
Just a life hack. But I mean, usually it doesn't lead to much. Most of the stuff is stuff we've heard of outside of like random small indies. And even then I'm not usually brave enough to bid based on that. But anyways, I saw this game Arco in a month where like all the other reviews were pretty dire because Edge is pretty harsh. They gave this one a 9 and I'm like, never even heard of this game. And they gave it a 9, their highest score of that magazine. So that just sort of got me looking it up.
Hot damn. It's got a 92% on Open Critic.
Well, it doesn't have many counting reviews.
I know it's got 7 reviews, but still.
I just watched a trailer. I'm like, oh, this looks good to me because this has like, first of all, it's like a very stylized, pixelated, like kind of an RPG of sorts, and the combat is very like it's like kind of tactics, but not like a traditional tactics sort of like combat system. But usually when I see like any sort of tactical combat, I'm like, okay, this is usually my shit, right? So it got me interested in it, and then I saw like another article about apparently it was yet another indie game that kind of launched and flopped. Like not enough people really like paid attention, like purchased it. And I saw something about I don't know if that indie developer or somebody else was commenting and saying, oh, this is what I get for not making a fucking roguelike or a card-based game or some shit. Like you just can't.
You just can't win without
obviously. It's been pretty dire for indie games, and obviously that's not. Anyways, after that, I was like, well, maybe I'll just buy this game. I already thought it looked cool. Supposedly, it might be pretty good, so I just sort of bought it. It was like pretty much the same day of like Tactical Breach Wizards, because it was like pretty cheap, like $15 or whatever, maybe on sale even. So I was like, oh, well, this looks cool. I'll try this. And now that I've been playing a ton of Tactical Breach Wizards, but for the podcast, I want to try something new, and I already bought this, so I was like, okay, I'll play this, and it does kind of rip. It might be hard to tell from the footage. Obviously, I know some people here don't really love the pixelated games as much, but like, despite that, like this is like a pretty cool. I mean, this game's cool. It's definitely
it's like a western of sorts, isn't it?
Not like a western, but sort of like a Latin, more like Latin America, like inspired, like Mesoamerica, whatever. You're kind of like a native tribe of sorts in this world. When you start, I know you play as multiple characters, and it's very like outside of combat, it's like very. Like the music is really good, and like the wind's blowing, and you're just kind of like going across these like plains and stuff, like these hills and stuff. And it's just vibes, man. I know that words get so overused, but like, man, I like sort of clicked with the atmosphere. I guess
vibes are important
of this game. I clicked with the atmosphere of this game almost immediately, and I was like, okay, I like this. And then I got into combat. I'm like, okay, there's like a cool tactical thing where. It's like almost like real time with pause or whatever, kind of, but you actually see what the enemy, like they're sort of positioning for their next turn, like ahead of time. They're either like coming towards you, or and you kind of see what they're gonna do in the get like turn pip of the battle or whatever. So it's more like kind of predicting like gunfire and positioning, and trying to like get out of the way of like a melee like strike, just enough to give you enough time to like reload essentially, and like fire off a range shot, but at the same time, like everything keeps freezing, right? You like take a shot, you take an attack, and then it freezes, and then you move and you like reload or whatever, and it freezes. So like I might have like dodged out of the way of a melee, like shot a dude in the face as I got just enough space to get away from him to dodge that melee attack, but at the meantime gunfire is coming, and I got to like do a dash to get out of the way of the gunfire. So you're managing like it's not real time, but it's like might as well be real time, just with lots of pausing, and you're kind of managing the movement and the resources of your movement and your attacks and stuff, and it's just really like it's satisfying. Again, hard to see what's going on. Like
it looks like you're fighting.
Obviously, it's an isometric game. Yeah, lizards. A little side quest, isometric RPG of sorts. You have a main quest, but there's like side quests and stuff. You're like picking up jobs, kind of getting money. But just kind of like a really satisfying combat system, honestly, that I don't really see. Like it felt unique for someone who plays like a lot of these games. It felt really unique and satisfying, and like the sound and the music and like the sound effects and stuff. It's all very good and like crunchy.
You mentioned the music. So does it sound like anything? What would you compare it to, like the general like ambiance of the music? Does it sound like? Is that a weird question? I don't know if that's a weird question.
I mean, it's not like kind of like maybe like a Western in this sort of setting kind of thing, right? It's not like pixely or anything, it's not like retro inspired. The look is obviously retro, but the music is just, it rips. I don't know what to tell you.
You're riding around on alpacas. That's pretty cool.
Maybe watch like a trailer to listen to some of that music. I know you can't really hear it now, but like you're riding around on alpacas, and like the story. So you're just kind of going from place to place, talking to people, like getting into like combat encounters, but like everything's very high stakes, and you're like making choices, and it's that kind of game where it's like, man, I don't think I made a good choice there, and I just killed the dude, and I'm pretty sure he wasn't the dude I'm looking for, because like the whole thing is like this like semi like revenge like story, because something happens to you when you're younger and your village gets burned down, and you're trying to like track down like maybe who did it and stuff. And it's but all the dialogue is very like kind of sparse. It reminds me of like like No Country for Old Men or whatever, or like like a Taylor Sheridan movie, like what the fuck is that movie called? Not Wind River, but the semi like Texas
high. Oh my god,
Hell or High Water, right?
Water.
It gives me those kind of vibes where like you're just sort of like a man on a mission, and you're trying to like find out who fucking did this, and you don't really have too many words to waste, outside of that, right? And again, it's just vibes. Like again, it looks like it looks, but like immediately I'm like, oh, I'm into this.
For the way, based on the way you're describing this to people who are listening at home and not able to like watch the footage, like I feel like you're making it sound like it's a really ugly game, and it's absolutely not.
No. It's not ugly, but it's very like minimalistic. The characters can be very far away when you're like exploring the world, and like they're just maybe like a few pixels big or whatever. Is all I'm saying. And again, it's sort of like the art style feels smaller than like the stakes of the story, or like the tone of the story, because like I said, it seems very high stakes. Like you're a man on a mission, and you're like you're not a and like you're making choices, and it feels like it's the kind of game where like sometimes like bad shit is going to happen, but you're just going to roll with it. Know the difference between a game where you feel comfortable, maybe because of like the setting or because of the atmosphere, or maybe you just trust the dev or whatever, to like just kind of roll with shit going bad, versus a game that compels you to reload because you're like, oh, I don't want that to happen. No, like I feel like, oh yeah, I'm just going to go with it, even though that
this was meant to happen kind of type thing.
Yeah. Because, it's just sort of the tone, the atmosphere supports that sort of thing, and I feel like that, so does that character. It's good. The characters are good, and I'm curious to like how to get to the other like playable characters in this world, because you start out and like you're like a kid and stuff happens, and then like now I'm playing as like this gruff dude, and I'm pretty sure I know like who this is and like where it's going, and I'm kind of interested to see that, and kind of like how the other characters that the story is going to interact with. But it also seems like the story where like the kind of game where like in 10 minutes, the character I'm playing as could just get gunned down, because that's the tone of the story. And all of a sudden I'm playing somebody different. But like,
that's pretty
again,
cool.
I'm vibing with that. I don't want to spoil anything, but like there was a moment earlier in the game where I was like, did I fuck up? Is this supposed to happen? The story's like continuing, but I'm wondering if I did something wrong there because of a decision I made, maybe in terms of gameplay, or maybe it was just kind of scripted that way.
Are you still wondering this, or have you found out if that was
I'm still kind of wondering it. I don't really know, but again, it's not a game where I'm confident in the world, in those decisions, to the point where I feel like I would just fuck it up by looking that shit up, right?
Gotcha.
I'm just gonna kind of keep going, and it's good. I mean, it's clicking with me, and I'm like interested in the skill trees and stuff. It's one of those games where like I have these skill trees and I want everything, and I can get one thing at any given time, and that to me, that's a sign of like, oof, I gotta make some tough choices here. But then I get through a battle and I'm just getting a few experience, and there's not a lot of battles. Everything's like you're dealing with very little experience, very little gold, right? And like I get to a shop and it's like I can buy some like blueberries, or should I save my money? But like this next battle, I might really need these fucking blueberries, because you only have a little bit of health, and I kind of need some fucking blueberries maybe to get my health back, because it's like a tough fucking world. And again, I don't know, it's cool. It's cool. I've been very surprised. I hear it's not like super long or anything.
Are you playing this on Steam?
My Steam Deck, yeah. I mean, it's perfect for like Steam Deck or whatever.
So it's in your library.
And I think it is on Nintendo Switch and stuff as well. But I've just been very impressed by it. This is a headphones game, man. The title screen, when you boot this game up, I was just like
still as fuck.
Like it busts out into like a vocal song, and it's just like fucking good. I mean, it is in Spanish, but like it's still like very.
Well, I'm not gonna play it.
Yeah, it's great. It's still very like, wow, man. Yeah. Cool. Such little pixels, but feels like they're doing
big vibe. Little pixels, big vibes.
Big vibes with little pixels, you know.
Cool.
And also, I would be sad if this developer is
story of my sex tape.
Card-based roguelike because this shit didn't sell, but whatever. That is how it is, I suppose.
Nicely done, Nolan. Nicely done. No, this is cool. This is if
Arco.
Arco. ARCO. Arco.
It's like $15.
Cool.
I like it.
I forgot I was going to talk about this briefly. I don't have a ton to add to it. I did bring some new footage, but I wanted to talk a little bit about my time with Black Myth Wukong over the past week because Star Wars Outlaws has been my most anticipated game for a long time, and it came out. And the reason I didn't start that game until late Sunday night, even though it was a 3-day weekend, was because I got so fucking wrapped up in Black Myth Wukong. I had told myself I'm not going to start Outlaws until I find like a really clean feeling like stopping point. Like I finished a chapter in Wukong, and that just I went down a fucking rabbit hole. I am now on chapter 4, and I'm like 34 hours into this game, and there's still 2 more chapters after this, I believe. At least 1 more chapter after this, I believe. This game continues to blow my fucking mind. Just in terms of, because I talked a little bit about last week about how like I didn't have super high expectations for this game in terms of like I was like, how much game is there actually even going to be here? Every chapter of this game introduces like 20 plus new enemy types. It's the amount, and all of those enemy types have different movesets, different behaviors. Like it's bananas. Yeah. Oh, I actually didn't intend to do that.
That's actually offensive to the Monkey King.
to the Monkey King. And yeah, I just this game keeps getting wilder and wilder, and like I'm finding like there are really interesting benefits to spending the time to like kind of explore, and there are like side quests and things like there is a whole hidden world, not world. It's like a place that you go to where like there's a blacksmith that can upgrade your armor, which I didn't even know about. Somebody had to tell me. It's like you can do a side quest and unlock this realm that you can teleport to, where you'll be able to upgrade your armor. You'll be able to upgrade your gourd, which is your Estus Flask thing, and and you can upgrade your weapons. You can also challenge the blacksmith to a fight, and he's hard as fuck. And it's all optional. Like it
seems pretty important though. Upgrading your Estus Flask and your armor and stuff.
But it's hidden. Like you gotta work for it. The character that you talk to that kind of starts this quest line is like, it's hard to miss him. But but it's also very obvious that you don't have to talk to him. You don't have to do anything. So if you decide to just be like, nah, I'm mainlining this experience, or that doesn't seem super important, I'm moving on. Like you could totally miss that. In fact, I ended up in a fight, the final boss fight of chapter 3, which is fucking insane. I did, and I without knowing that I could upgrade my weapons and my so I ended up doing all of that after this boss. So I ended up getting stuck on this final boss of this chapter for like 3 hours. It was that was the first time in the game where I've been like, holy shit, I don't know if I can do this, but I pushed through, and I got it, which is super satisfying. But yeah, it just keeps going deeper and deeper. And I think I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but each chapter of this game ends with like, oh yeah, I think I mentioned it, like that kind of like Miyazaki-esque like cutscene in between the chapters. I didn't realize this at the time. When you finish each chapter, they have one of those like cutscenes. It's a different animation style completely. Like the second one was like claymation. The third one is like a totally different animation style, and like some of that shit is just insanely beautiful, and just like the production value is bonkers. So yeah, I don't know, man. This game just there's a lot to this game, and I'm just constantly like, I can't believe this game is what it is, because I did not expect this at all. So yeah, that's why I did not start my most anticipated game of the year right when I had it in my fucking hands.
I mean, that's healthy. Whatever.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna finish. This is one of those games I'm gonna try and finish during. I'm taking a week off. Gonna try and knock this puppy out. But it's hard. Also, like, taking the time to like fight mini bosses, like optional mini bosses, can sometimes reward you with like really significant spells. Like, I fought a mini boss. They didn't make a big spectacle of it, but it was just like an optional boss I had. Like, I'll fight him, and I fought him, and suddenly I earned a new transformation. I could totally I could transform into an entirely different creature that gives me a different moveset and stuff. And I was like, I was about to just blow right past this, and I had no idea. So, man, it's pretty cool. Vincent Street in chat says, impressions from others lead me to believe it's like 50% soul stuff and 50% boss fights. It's like 60% boss fights, and the other 40%, I don't even know if I would call it souls. Because the only thing that's soulsy about it really is kind of just the general approach to like the focus on dodging and attacking feels very souls, but like the way you accrue experience isn't souls. You don't lose your experience when you die, like none of that stuff. That feels very distinctly souls. So I feel like that's maybe a bit of a stretch to call it souls. But anyways, that's it. We can move on. Do we have anything Fantasy Critic related we want to talk about?
There's one new pickup. Crispy actually picked up that game Kill Knight, which comes out.
I think he said that he forgot that he bid on it.
Surprising. I thought it was Carlos for sure, but just because it didn't seem very crispy. But I do think that game looks cool.
Wait.
It's a twin stick shooter or auto shooter. I don't actually know, but it definitely looks neat. So
yeah.
How are we looking at the rankings overall right now?
I think there's. I think Nick's in the lead after Outlaws.
Only by a couple points right now to Brad, but next week we'll have Astrobot reviews next week. It'll be really things are gonna shift.
I mean, I hate to break it to you, but we're gonna have Space Marine 2 reviews before that, so it's gonna undercut my Astrobot.
That's not true. I don't think that's true. Or maybe
to some extent. Yeah. Space Marine's tomorrow, and then Astrobot's the day after.
Oh, Space Marine 2 reviews are tomorrow?
Yes.
Tomorrow we find out if the prophecy is true?
Yes.
If Crispy's Space Marine 2 prophecy?
I mean, I don't think I'm gonna. I think I'm still gonna gain points as far as Astrobot goes, but I'm probably gonna lose. I mean, I'm losing at least 10 points on Space Marine.
You think so?
Good.
Okay.
I think so. Okay. Yeah, for sure. I think that game. My guess is low 80s, but I was hoping like high 70s on that one, but
Crispy's still holding
the hype cycle for this. It's not what Crispy said.
Crispy's still holding tight to his like
90 plus.
90 plus.
I said I would give him Silk Song if it comes out.
If the joke's on him. It's not. You don't. That's only if Silk Song gets a date.
If Silk Song comes out,
you have to give it to him.
Space Marine 2 is a 90 plus. I'll give him Silk Song. And I'll throw an Astrobot.
Fuck it. I love this. I love the stakes. Okay.
There's no fucking way. But I mean, it could score, mid 80s or whatever, which is a pretty, it's a tragedy for me. But then Astrobot will come, reviews will come right after, so it'll kind of make me a little less sad, but
Gotcha.
We'll see.
Okay. I think that's kind of it in the world of video game impressions that we're at. So, and Fantasy Critics. So, are y'all ready to wrap up with the 4-player minute? Brad?
Sure.
Brad, take us away.
So my 4-player minute is about spooky season. I start celebrating on September 1st, like any healthy, red-blooded
psychopath
human. No. And it's I did a stream on Sunday, and I was, just see kind of how it went or whatever. I just
how did it go?
Played through that Frank Stone demo.
Mm-hmm.
It was fine. It was very like Supermassive, right?
It came out kind of like
the same shit that they've been making for ages. But it seemed fine. I mean,
that was the other news topic.
Supermassive game.
Oh no, it wasn't Supermassive. It was the team that's remaking Until Dawn laid off their entire team before the remake came out. That's what I was trying to think of earlier.
Which is
for some reason
weird.
I thought it was
maybe there's like very little interest in that, or maybe there's a lot of issues with it. I don't know. It didn't seem like a crazy remake or anything, but that sucks. What is that, Embracer or something? But anyways, yeah. I mean, that was fine. But again, I'm just looking for stuff to kind of get into the seasonal mood, right? And I'll stream some of that stuff. I'm kind of building a list, depending on if people want to see it. I'll keep streaming. Like I said, I'm equipped to stream most nights. I just kind of don't do it due to lack of interest, either mine or other people's. It's hard for the stars to align. I've kind of described it, where it needs to be something I'm into and maybe chat's into, and my wife would enjoy watching. And there's not always
the wild card.
It's not getting all three of those is like a kind of a tough order sometimes. But when it's spooky season, I could be convinced.
All bets are off. Yeah.
But I'm not only looking for like explicitly horror games necessary. I definitely like games where I'm just too fucking scared to progress or whatever. I want more games with like just good seasonal vibes, or like maybe literally just about kind of Halloween. And I'm considering a more broader appeal. Like I consider Castlevania to be kind of Halloween-y. The origins are universal monsters, right? I mean, that's kind of what Castlevania was originally. So, I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking about it. Let me know in Discord or whatever if you're interested, or if you have any like recommendations. I know I was asking like a couple of days ago for recommendations, and I want to be clear here. I'm not looking for like a list of every horror game you heard about recently. Like if you have something that you like really like and you think I might like, and I haven't played, maybe suggest it. But obviously I don't want my list to get like too crazy or anything, because it's just not realistic. Right. But I do have a list, so look forward to these streams. Let me know. I might do another one at some point later in the week. But I'm gonna try to aim for maybe at least once a week if I can stay excited and keep the momentum, and people seem to be responding to it well. Yeah, played a little V Rising as well. I feel like that's a little, it's Halloween-y, right? Yeah. I mean, as much as like Castlevania, right? By the way, that game continues to be awesome. I really like V Rising. So
nice.
Yeah.
Kind of on that note, Brad, you recommend, I was looking for a spooky movie to watch, because I too am starting to get in the mood for. And you had recommended watching Oddity, and I watched that on Sunday night, I think. Fuck.
It's Coolio's.
That movie took me for a ride. It has been a long time since I've watched a movie alone in the dark by myself and had to watch almost the entire thing at an almost inaudible level of volume, with a lot of the time looking like having my hand over my face, looking through my fingers. That movie fucked me up. It fucked me up so bad. Like I watched it by myself. I rented it and I watched it by myself, and then I had told my wife that the next day. I was movies? I rented it on Prime.
Yeah.
And
I do that too. Wait, you don't do that ever?
My Robin wasn't really in the mood to watch a horror movie that night, so she didn't watch it. And then the next day I was like, that movie fucked me up. So we didn't watch it together, but I told her that, and she was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this. I came home today from work and she was watching it. She was like, yeah, it's pretty fucking good.
That's wild. What time was that? In the middle of the fucking day? She's watching a horror movie?
Well, she gets off work. She gets off work at 4. I get off work at 5. I got home at like 5:30, and she was already almost finished with it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, a 4 p.m. horror movie? That's a choice.
Yeah, I mean, my wife's, viewing, like, movie watching, we have very different... Wait, what?
Yeah, no. Dude, okay. So you say that. Hold on. I don't know if you'll be able to see this on my phone.
Nope.
I know. I'm trying. Right there. Do you see what that says?
Borat?
Yes. I'll get to it. I'll get to it.
You watched Borat finally. Congratulations.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's good. Like it's a movie with a cool premise and like a really good opening scene. I feel like, right?
Oh, dude, that whole opening setup is one of the scariest fucking scenario horror things I've ever seen. Holy shit!
Crazy. It's just cool. I liked it.
I'm going to second Brad's vote. If anyone out there is looking for spooky movie stuff to watch, check out Oddity. I think if you have Shudder, I think it's on Shudder, but you can also rent it on Prime and Apple TV or Apple TV.
I always sub to Shudder for September and October, then I cancel.
Yeah. That's probably a smart move. All right, Nolan, do you want to go next? Tell us about Borat.
Yeah, so my friend who was visiting town, who brought his Quest 3, one of the things we had gotten on the topic of Borat, and it's one of those things where Bernadette and I quote Borat all the time.
My wife,
my wife. I have a chair, king of the castle. And just whatever. Jinqui, Yigshamash, like whatever. We quote Borat all the time. He had never seen it. He's our age. I think he maybe is like a year younger than me. But I guess when it came out, for some reason, he just never got around to seeing it. And so we were like, let's watch Borat. And so we throw on Borat. And so first off, it has been a very long time since I've seen Borat, even though
is this a sacred cow? You're going to kill this sacred cow?
No. It's just, I don't know if I have changed as a person.
Oh, no.
But to Nick's comment earlier of having to watch half the movie with this face behind his hands, dude, it's like some of the cringe just got to me different now than it did
to
back
you, Nolan?
I mean, I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like, just knowing that those are real people and some of the shit that he's saying to them. And I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I still loved it and I will watch it again. It's just funny that, I guess, I don't know, like I said, changed as a person, that some of it kind of got to me a little bit more than I did, even though I've seen Borat so many times. But still, it's just funny that, I happened to write down already that I was going to bring that up. And it's just funny that, hey, look, there you go. We had a Borat quote out of nowhere. But anyway, so the other stuff I wanted to bring from my 4-player minute was just that I did actually play some Tactical Breach Wizards. Not a whole lot. I probably would have played more, but the library got taken over by Brad, and so I just happened to be. I was playing at a time when Brad was going to play, but anyway, so I probably only played about an hour. I do plan on playing more because what I did play, I did really enjoy. So I'm probably going to play a little bit more of it. Had a really fun time playing it. In addition to that, the events this weekend with the Quest 3 really just kept me itching for VR. I had recently purchased there was a bundle for I Expect You to Die, and I've only ever played the first game. I've never played the second or the third. And there was and I only have the game on PSVR, and there was a bundle for all 3 games on Steam, and I was like, fuck it, I bought it. They're already installed. I'm probably going to be playing those here in the next couple of days, weeks, just because I remember really enjoying those games.
I'm so sorry. My headphones died again. Which games were these?
I Expect You to Die, Nick.
Oh, okay.
But the game I was talking about wasn't. But yeah, so no, I was just saying that there's I've only played the first one, not the second or the third. And there was a bundle on Steam for all 3. Nice. But yeah, and then besides that, just super hyped for Astrobot. Even like the trailer we watched before the show tonight really got me excited for it. Like like I said, just been reinvigorated when I played it this weekend. Very much excited. I ended up because I did want that controller, and I do need another PS5 controller. I ended up buying like a bundle with like the game and the controller, mainly just because I couldn't find the controller anywhere for actual pre-order. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Cool, man. I'm super excited. It's gonna be fun. It's just like that game is just pure joy. It's just pure.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's
unadulterated. So it's hard to be sad when you're playing Astrobot. Can't wait. Cool. Chris Davis, it's your turn.
Yeah, my 4-player minute is basically not about video games or entertainment in general.
Cancel him.
Yeah, sorry. but it's
talk about his house.
Yeah, my house. The foundation has been laid and the frame went up over the weekend. So
nice.
I visited the site yesterday, in fact, and now I'm really starting to get the fear of God in me that this is actually happening, and I really have to start.
Exciting times, Gustavus. It's exciting times.
He had to choose Peglin over Tactical Breach Wizards.
Yeah, well, it was Tactical Breach Wizards was $6 more than Peglin. So, and also Peglin, like I look at Peglin and it just straight up reminds me of 10 Million, the game. So, like, I love that fucking game.
Did you at least play We Gotta Build a Boat or whatever?
I think I did.
Okay.
I think I did.
Because that's the one that the dude made after 10 million. If you're looking for a 10 million, like.
Oh, he did make it before?
Aren't we all?
After.
I'm going to have to go look at it again. Maybe I didn't play it. I'll have to look. But yeah, so, I mean, I bought a garage door opener yesterday. I bought ceiling fans the other day. Like, I'm feeling the homeowner crunch right now.
What garage door opener did you get?
I got a Chamberlain.
Okay. And what ceiling fans did you get?
They were Hampton Bays. They were on sale. Like,
yikes.
They're not the best, but yeah, I'm going to install them.
I was not ready for Brad's yikes on that one. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. I can't remember if Hampton Bay was the one that I absolutely hated.
This podcast is taking a hard left turn towards.
There
it has
was
only 2 blades. It's crazy.
No, it's not about that. It's just the number of steps it took to install it was like insane. The one the home decorators collection I got, dude, super easiest ceiling fan I've ever. It was Hunter. Hunter was the bitch. Okay, so you're good.
Yeah, Hunters are the bitch.
Hunter. I understand why people can. My builder wanted to charge me $150 per fan to install it.
Yeah,
when it came to that Hunter, I understand that. The Hampton Bay ones I installed only took me like 30 minutes.
Bognoy says this is peak old man talk on this.
This is midlife crisis, mid-age man.
You are in your 30s. We can't be having midlife crisis.
I'm 38. That's time.
I have to break to you, Nick. That's about midlife.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
If this were a century ago, we'd be past our midlife crisis.
Honestly, I think I'm having a little bit of a midlife crisis myself, but I'm trying to remain positive here.
What are you doing?
I think I think it's just massive amounts of anxiety that I've never had before, and I think a lot of it has to do. This is taking a really hard turn. This is like something becoming a therapy podcast. No, just anxiety. I'm not.
How many days a week do you go to bed thinking about death? Yeah.
Too many.
Yeah.
You're doing it wrong if you're thinking about anything when you go to bed. You got to do everything in your power to like kill your brain.
God, that's why I take
brain. Oh, you mean
CBD?
Yeah.
Turn off your brain. Yeah.
Dude, I can't do melatonin. It just makes it. I do not sleep well on melatonin.
It works all right for me.
It makes me fall asleep for sure, but I just do not feel well rested the next day anytime I take melatonin. Yeah, it gives me like not restful sleep.
I'm sorry,
but I'm glad it works for you.
I also last Friday I did a sleep study, and that was one of the worst experiences.
Oh, you did a sleep study, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I had my physical last month, and I was, I really went for my physical to like get my doctor to write me a prescription for a mattress because I didn't want to pay sales tax.
Whoa.
What the fuck?
You can do that.
I think my brain just broke.
Yeah,
you say you went to your doctor to get a prescription for a mattress?
Yeah, if you can go to your doctor and ask for a prescription for a mattress, and they'll write you one. And in the state of Texas, you can use that towards writing off all the sales tax on a mattress purchase.
But like, at the end of the day, the sales tax, tax on a mattress,
that's like $800, man. Like that's big
sales tax.
What fucking mattress are you getting? Holy shit!
Does it jerk you off?
It's a sales tax on your mattress was $800.
I mean, I don't know what the number will be, but like that's the number I pulled out of my ass because the mattress I want is like $6,000.
Mattress?
$6,000 for the mattress.
$6,000 for the mattress? Chris Davis.
For a mattress that will last me 12, 15 years? Yeah.
Chris Davis. The mattress the mattress that my wife and I bought when we moved into this house is one of the best mattresses I've ever had in my entire life. It has shown no signs of degrading at all. And it was sub $1,000, probably.
Okay.
Maybe just over $1,000. $6,000.
Look, what the? I want to go to your house and sleep on that mattress. What the fuck?
It's a Tempur-Pedic. I want it, and it's gonna last me 12 to 15 years. Is it like
one of those old people ones where like the whole bed
it turns into a taco or whatever? Like,
yeah, it turns into a taco.
They got the adjustment.
Is it the bed and the mattress?
Honestly, I would play $6,000 if it made you a taco.
Chris Davis, you already bought this mattress? Like,
no,
you've
not
already
yet.
done it?
Not yet. Okay.
So you could still fix this. You could still.
If I pay it off, if I spend 4 years paying it off with no interest, it's fine.
Chris Davis.
What?
I mean, let's talk after the podcast.
Best dude.
You can make some choices.
Get one of the
get
one of the mattresses they ship straight to your door that are in the box.
Like a Casper? No,
I've to do that.
I've tried to sleep on a fucking Casper or something like that. I didn't like it.
Okay, but there's in between. There's in between Casper and $6,000 mattress.
Yeah.
Is it like a California King at least? I mean, this has got to be a
dude. I have a tufted needle. I have a tufted needle.
Is a California King bigger or smaller than a King?
It's actually this is interesting. California Kings and Kings are the same size.
No, they are not.
No, it's just it's a difference of like shorter on one end and they extend it a little. But
I used to sell
square inches. It's the exact same
size. Okay, fine. Square inches. They are slightly more narrow, but they are longer.
Yes,
like they are not the same size. They are different size mattresses.
The area of the mattress is the exact same, but it's just different. Side dimensions.
So they're for taller people.
Chris Davis.
Yes, California Kings are for people who are taller and don't want their feet hanging off the end of their mattress.
But only by like 4 or 5 inches, I think.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Chris Davis.
What?
I have a tufted needle, and I can't speak to Casper's quality, but my tufted needle is fantastic.
What the fuck is a tufted needle?
What is a tufted needle?
It's the brand. It's like it's one of the many brands that you order the mattress and they ship it straight to your door and it like comes out of the box mattress, whatever.
Never heard of it.
It's just a brand. Tuft and Needle. Bog Noise knows what's up. He says it. He's got it.
Tuft and Needle. I heard tufted needle.
And Needle. It's very good. It's very good.
I have a hybrid. I think it was like
I sleep like an angel. Okay,
$100. That seems like a lot to me, but I've been sleeping on a poor person mattress.
Hey, by the way, has anybody found replacements for Wamsutta? Because my Wamsutta sheets are kind of getting out of style, and I've heard they've officially closed, and I really like my sheets.
Wamsutta.
I don't even.
Yeah, no point looking it up anymore. They're gone now. But I've been trying to find a replacement for them because I really liked them.
Poinsettia? What do you? What did you say?
Wamsutta.
Oh,
is the brand.
I found it. Wamsutta.
Yes, but whatever you're finding now, that's actually not them anymore. It's an offshoot of somebody who makes them, and they make them shitty quality because the actual brand is out of. Anyway, I'm asking if anybody in chat who knows about good sheets, not $6,000 mattresses, can tell me a good replacement for them.
My quick Reddit Googling says, look at Everhome. They might be the same brand, just different.
Go a slightly deeper Reddit search, and it will tell you that is incorrect. Right, it's fine. Okay. I've done research. I've done lots of Reddits. Apparently, it's difficult. But anyway,
guys,
have y'all ever returned a mattress like that you purchased online? I've returned like at least 3 different mattresses that I purchased online because, look, I'm a very large person and it's got to be right for someone like me. I feel like a light person can like get away with like being on a mattress that isn't like isn't amazing or perfect and be fine. But a very large, heavy person has to have it. You have to get it right, especially as I get older. returning mattresses are crazy because it's the same at like all the different companies I purchased them from. Because I was convinced last time I purchased a mattress, like, no, I'm going to get it right. When you do that and they're like, okay, it didn't work out, you know, because you have so many days or whatever, sometimes like months, right? Like, it's not working out. I'm returning it. Don't like it. They're like, okay, we don't want it back. So donate it. They'll come pick it up to, like, you know, these companies, these places like Salvation Army or whatever. They'll come pick it up. Just take a picture of the donation receipt and we'll send you something. We'll give you your money back. You don't give it back because they don't want it back. Yeah. You just donate it. And those people, they come to your house. So it's like real easy to return a mattress. They're not lying. It's not like, at first I thought like, this is bullshit. You can't just return a super expensive 4-figure mattress, but no, you just do. And they just eat the loss because that's their policy. And this is multiple companies have done this.
Because markups on mattresses are fucking insane.
Of course. Yes. Of course.
Yeah. They cost so much less than what they actually sell them for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On that note, I'm going to
know that because I used to sell mattresses, and one of the perks was I get to buy them at cost. And the mattress we sold for like $2,000, I paid like $465.
Fucking nice.
Nice.
Yep, beautiful. And I still have it.
I like how Chris Davis says, I need a good mattress for like 4 years. Or what was the crazy amount of years
like
you said?
12 years.
He said 12.
I would hope that that a $6,000 mattress goes at least 12 years. I don't know when I need to replace my mattress, but
you really should like every 10 at the max. In reality.
I think we can all agree, though, $800 in sales tax on a single mattress is absurd.
Yes, we can.
I'll pull up the calculator and I'll do the math for what it.
Mattress.
If you're paying $800 in sales tax on a mattress, that is the wrong mattress for you.
It's $10,000. Texas sales tax 8.25%. So yeah, it'd be like a $10,000 mattress.
Okay. Wow.
Which, as Nolan said, should either make you taco or jerk you off.
Did your doctor recommend that mattress? Because let me tell you, the doctor's making a lot more than you are, probably.
No, the doctor just wrote me the prescription and said, oh, while you're at it, go do the sleep study.
I'm so fascinated by this. How did you even find out about this loophole of having a doctor write a prescription for a mattress?
You go to a mattress store and you ask them about like discounts and shit, and they said, oh, well, you could go do this.
Okay, that's the surprise.
Wow. And they gave him the name of a doctor, and he met them on the corner under the street lamp. It was like, if you let me jerk you off, I will give you this taco and a prescription for a mattress.
Okay. I'm coming up on my 40s. I need something that's like going to be good for my back because I do not sleep well on my current mattress.
Right. We know your midlife crisis now. We get it.
Okay.
Maybe you just need a weighted blanket.
Hey, can I ask you something? I know we need to end this shit. Is there anything else? I haven't even
done my 4-player minute yet.
That you purchased that's like weirdly fucking expensive? Anything crazy that you're willing to share?
Yeah, I spent $250 on a grass drawer opener. $100 on a.
Okay, that's not what I'm talking about.
I'm trying
literally
to.
all
you
of
put
them
me on the spot. I'm vocalizing my thoughts here.
Chris Davis. We want like
my desk chair is like $600.
I want something weird.
I've spent $1,000 over the past 5 months framing posters.
That's not weird.
Whoa, that's weird. How many posters do you have? That's a lot of fucking money.
It's a series of 7 movie posters. They're all like 32 by 24. Yeah.
And are you getting them all custom framed?
Yeah, they're custom framed.
See, the only time I ever consider getting a custom frame is when something is not a standard size.
Is your home loan paying?
It's not a standard size. These posters.
$1,000.
Yeah,
dude, I can make you a custom frame.
That's probably true. Yeah.
For like $100.
$800. Say $800.
Custom.
Yeah, but I get like the UV glass and everything and
UV glass. Are these original posters?
Yeah, these are original theatrical run posters from the 90s and 80s.
UV.
Okay. Why? How much did the posters cost?
I bought them like over.
Only share if you're comfortable, huh?
Anywhere between $50 to like $150, I think, each.
Whoa. What was the size of the? It was 34 by what?
So the posters are each 20 by 28.
How much do you make?
And then I have an 1.5 inch mat on each side, and then a So it ends up being like 32 inches by 24 inches, something like that. I've got a receipt.
Well,
I'll go grab one and show ya. Not on the feed, obviously.
Glass is $60.
But Peglin was, Tactical Breach Wizards was too much.
Hey, look, I've been eating fucking. Oh my god! I've been eating peanut butter sandwiches for like the past 2 weeks, practically. Okay,
it sounds
I'm
delicious.
on crunch time. I'm thinking about like closing costs and everything else. I still haven't bought a fucking refrigerator.
Just don't get the $6,000 mattress, and you can have steaks.
Yeah, right? All of a sudden.
I got one.
I'm glad you're like making quote unquote thrifty choices. You're saving. You're being smart, but like it seems weirdly.
It's that whole like
you've definitely Chris Davisified the situation.
Help me! I can't feed my family. Here are my expenses. Like $8,000,
$11,000 of candles.
Like, yeah, it's like I can't decide what to do.
All right, what you got?
I've got one for you, Brad. I bought concert tickets to go see Slipknot this month. I bought them like 4 months ago when they went on sale, and it was the 25th anniversary tour, and I wanted
3 or 4 digits.
3 for 2 total.
High threes or mid threes, low threes?
I spent $700 on concert tickets.
Okay, all right.
How many tickets? Slipknot's charging that much?
I didn't even have a confirmation from. I was only a couple people in my life who would even be interested in going to one of these shows with me, and I didn't even at the time have a yes, I'll go with you from the person, but I had a very small window of time to actually get the tickets. So I just said, fuck it, I'll buy them now and I'll figure it out later. And if I can't find someone to go with me, I will.
Concert tickets can be expensive. I'm just surprised Slipknot is asking that much. Are they like backstage pass tickets?
No,
but that price, Corey Taylor better jerk you off.
Yeah.
They are pit tickets. General admission tickets.
Fucking Slipknot.
It's the most I've ever spent going to see Slipknot. I've seen them. This will be my 4th time seeing them.
As these bands that pretty much like no young people listen to anymore, they definitely like start charging way more.
Yeah.
It's still. I've also looked up Taylor Swift tickets on a number of occasions and been like, oh yeah, no, I'm not doing this. This is obscene. So I didn't go that crazy. But still, it's the most I've ever spent on concert tickets. So, yeah. Anyways, 4-player minute for me, I guess.
Sorry, I didn't mean to hijack the fucking show.
Yes, you fucking did. Let's see. I will just, I'll just keep this short. Like I said earlier, I'm taking next week off, and I have just I just have so much gaming to do, and I'm actually super excited because I don't have like any real commitments at all during that window of time. I basically have 9 days to just kind of relax and catch up on all these games, including Astrobot, including Space Marine 2, including Wukong.
It's not called catch up when you're starting brand new games, Nick.
Well, you're right. The likelihood of me actually finishing any of these games during that window of time is pretty small because these are all pretty big games.
So you're going like true poop sock. You're not going to be doing shit but playing games.
Well, I'm sure I'll be doing things here and there, but like I don't have any.
If you start watching like Dexter again during your week off,
here's the secret. Here's the secret. I'm always watching Dexter. I watched 2 episodes of Dexter today. I'm on season
Dexter
6
in the background.
That's crazy.
Yes,
I'm working with someone who started Dexter and is watching Dexter for the first time, and they're in season 3. I'm like, that's crazy. Because
dude, I finished my last rewatch of Dexter about 2 months before they announced the new revival, and immediately started watching Dexter again. And
you
now
didn't like watch
6.
2 episodes though, right? You had 2 episodes on in the background.
Yes, but I was also doing monotonous work today, like copying and pasting, so I was paying probably more attention to the show than I was. You know what I mean?
That's fine. If it's a background show, ain't no one gonna criticize that. If you were to like sit down with some popcorn and.
How long do you think it's taking me to get to season 6, which is where I'm at right now?
2 days.
Long time.
I started this rewatch like about a month ago.
Wow.
Like a month. So, and I'm not watching all of them
but
in the
mostly
background.
watching. Oh, not all of them. But
no, I sometimes I'll watch an episode while I eat lunch.
Wow.
I'll watch an episode at night. I watched an episode after I finished watching Oddity because I needed a palate cleanser because I was fucking freaked out.
He'll watch an
so
episode.
the one about the sociopath killer sort of evens
dude,
you out.
It's dude. This show Dexter is very much my comfort show, for sure, 100%.
But he's about to say Dexter is my co-pilot.
People got
We don't call it a co-pilot.
I'm more of a 6 feet under comfort kind of guy, I suppose.
I still haven't watched 6 Feet Under, which I know is really
it's crazy. For like
really
someone
criminal.
to be such a huge Michael C. Hall fan, right? It's kind of.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is
like Michael C. Hall. He likes Dexter.
I mean,
yeah.
I like
but I'm sure he's very quite fond of the actor now.
I am quite fond of Michael C. Hall, but I'm also like, dude, here's a funny story, right? Michael C. Hall is in a band. I listen to the band a little bit, but I'm not like obsessed with the band. But like,
yeah, but that's music. I mean, that's a different thing.
I bought concert tickets to go see his band when he was coming to Houston, and the day of the concert, I got the alert notification on my phone saying, "Hey, the concert's in 2 hours," and I was still at home, and it was in Houston. Completely forgot it was happening, so I just didn't go.
Wait, what kind of music is it?
It's like electronic, indie pop.
Okay,
weird. It
sounds more my thing, honestly.
Yeah, you'd probably dig it. You'd probably dig it.
But that's funny.
I mean, I like it. It's
but you understand that's like music versus like you like a good television show. Sure, it's not Dexter, but like you watch a good movie, you watch a good television show. It's a little different than all of a sudden I'm going to start listening to country music or whatever.
I'm just saying I like Michael C. Hall a lot, but like I fully admit there's probably not another role that he's ever done outside of Dexter that I've truly cared all that much about.
You've seen movie?
I've seen Gamer. I've seen there's Shadow in the Shadow of the Moon, or I forgot what it's something like that.
Okay, sure. Again, I'm not recommending 6 Feet Under just because of Michael C. Hall. It is one of like the more revered television shows in existence as well. I know. But yeah,
I think it's always just been. I don't watch 6 Feet Under because I do have anxiety about mortality and death, and I feel like
don't
really
watch
bad.
that show.
Yeah,
if you're worried about that.
That is quite literally the only reason I haven't watched it.
I mean, at the same time, it's like it deals with that as well, right? So it's not like it might actually help you like process some of that, but like at the same time, it is also a show that will definitely make you think about that if you're trying to just tune it out. Because that's what the show's about. And again, the season finale, no human has ever not broken down watching the series finale of 6 Feet Under. Holy shit!
Right. Sorry, what was your question, David?
6 Feet Under was the one about the funeral parlor, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
The funeral home, a family-owned funeral home. I've watched like bits and pieces of it when it was still airing, but I have never like sat down with the intention of like watching the whole show because I do feel like it would really trigger my anxiety. But one day I'll watch it. One day I will. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. We've gone off on so many tangents during this 4-player minute. But anyways, I think that's going to do it tonight. That's our show, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out and tuning in and sitting through our mattress conversation. Fun. Join us again next week. We record these on Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Central Time on twitch.tv/4player podcast. You can also find all of our episodes on 4playernetwork.com or your preferred podcast service. But most importantly, if you're not, we'd love to have you in our Discord at discord.gg/4player. It's free and it's fun because we're all there and we're all friends. And it's cool. So yeah.
We don't mattress shame in the Discord.
We don't mattress shame. Chris Davis will occasionally take over my Dexter channel to talk about buying curtains.
You're the one that keeps bringing this up. I brought it up once as a joke, and like,
do I have this muted, or do you have me blocked from?
I don't have a channel. I started a Talk to Nick About Dexter thread. There's currently one person.
I don't see any thread.
There is currently one person in our community who is watching Dexter for the first time, and we've been having daily or every other day conversations about it. So it's nice. I'm enjoying it. So yeah, Chris Davis went in there and started talking about curtains for his new
I had
house.
An innocent question about a picture you posted of your theater room.
With the curtains, and then hijacked it. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Guys, thanks for listening. We'll be back next Tuesday night
for a single window.
We'll be back next Tuesday for another episode. In the meantime, be good to each other, play video games, and good night.